And the 1 and the 2 and the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I was supposed to talk after that. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Two Dicks Exposed. I am your host, not Pat.
And I am your other host, not Mike.
And if you didn't understand what that all was about, then clearly you were young.
Wait, hold, before we gotta go, we are also joined by Dan the Flufferman.
Dan the Flufferman.
Say hi, Dan the Flufferman.
I don't respond to that name.
Eventually we gotta come up with a name that sticks with you.
Couch Mike is fine.
It's Couch Mike.
Couch Mike, the
Couch-
Flufferman.
Fluffy Couch Mike. So yeah, we're gonna talk about 90s cartoons, and I guess like the
Because
best way
this was our introduction to superheroes.
It really
Yeah,
was.
it was.
Like I read comic books when I was a kid because like, you know, there was like a comic book rack at like your local grocery store. Like when you go to check out, there would be like, you know, video game magazines, comic books, and stuff like that. Because this is where I actually like found out like Sonic the Hedgehog had like a dark story, like in like the extended universe. Because I remember picking up a Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, and it was like dystopian and this, I lost my arm and stuff like that. And I'm like, Mom, I don't like this because I was used to.
If I ever stop running under 65 miles an hour, my heart will explode.
Because like, mind you, this was before like Sonic became edgy. So like this was like Sonic 1, 2, and 3 were just out. So like these comics were like out there that were just like dark, and I'm like, no.
¿Por qué?
This is way before the edgy like Shadow gets introduced and stuff like that.
There's a video of Brian David Gilbert that he does like an unravel breakdown of the Sonic lore. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the BDG unravel.
Like he starts
Sonic,
it and then
Sonic
he just
Bible.
descends into madness. Yeah,
Yes.
the Sonic Bible.
Oh my god, BDG is like God. Like yeah, so like a lot of our introduction to like superheroes was WB.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like-
WB. I mean, you had the old school, well, DC was WB.
Yeah. DC
Yeah.
was WB, and I don't remember where I remember watching the Marvel stuff.
Fox.
Was it Fox?
Fox
It
Kids.
was Fox.
Yeah,
It was Fox
Kids
Kids
had Marvel,
yes.
and
Yes.
Warrant Kids WB had DC.
Because I remember there was an anime that was on Fox. I can't remember which one, but I remember like you had to switch between like the two.
Digimon was on Fox. Pokemon
Yes.
was on Kids WB.
And then sometimes they would air it at the same time, so you had to debate if you wanted to watch Digimon or Pokemon. And this was before like you were smart enough to realize that Digimon was just the superior anime.
You know what else I found out that was fun? Fox had Dragon Ball Z, and they kicked Dragon Ball Z off to make room for Power Rangers.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or Dragon Ball, one of them. I don't know.
That makes sense. All right, because I remember my cousin telling me like way back that he used to like stay up like late so he could watch Dragon, because he didn't have cable.
Yeah.
So like that's how he'd watch Dragon Ball was like on Fox, and I was like, what? That's not a thing. And
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
the OSHA or Ocean or whatever.
the Green Ocean Dubs.
The Green Ocean Dubs. Yep. So Fox had that, not OSHA.
Not the
Stop
OSHA
it.
dubs.
OSHA.
Stop laughing at
Doug
me,
for your
Flufferman.
safety.
Green Ocean
Damn it,
Dubs.
Flufferman. But yeah, and then like that didn't pick off, so they kicked that off, and I believe it was Power Rangers or something.
Yeah,
I'm like 100% it was Power
According
Rangers.
to like, if
according
I remember
to online.
if I remember correctly, I was like 8 years old, and I used to hate Stinger. My cousin, I'm very close, but I used to like hate Stinger when I was a kid because like they didn't have cable, so like all you could watch was like whatever was on the antenna.
Yeah, you had the 4 channels.
Yeah,
like
so like it
11,
was,
13, 45, 54.
yeah, which was usually like old like sitcoms like MASH and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to watch cartoons. Like
Yeah,
I
or
had
Frasier, The Price is Right.
right. I grew up
So
in
many like court shows.
Yeah.
that
I grew up in a house where like
Jerry
I had
Springer, R.I.P.
access to R.I.P. Jerry Springer. I had access to Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, so like I hated like as a kid like going to other houses because like they
Like,
did
why
it.
am I
So, like,
downgrading?
oh my god, I can't watch cartoons whenever I want. But yeah, he was like, oh yeah, if we stay up to like 2:00 in the morning, we watch Dragon Ball, and I was like, so like, I think that's why Dragon Ball failed was because they put it on like a horrible time block.
So, did you guys know that Saban Entertainment and Funimation actually worked together to make the Ocean dub of the original Dragon Ball Z dub?
I did.
That's why they put in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're like, one market failed, let's get people in suits, put them in.
Dope. I did not know that.
Yep.
Um,
And then Funimation bought it, and they were like, we need to just bring in anyone who will redub this. So they got Chris Sabat and Sean Chamel, who are both just like local Texans or something like that. And they're like, hey, you guys can just do this. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our DBZ drop.
DBZ drop. Oh yeah. We haven't had a DBZ drop in probably a while.
Probably a hot minute.
I think we talked Budokai. We talked about
dropped.
GameCube.
We're off topic.
Anyways.
Superheroes. So Fox Kids. So we'll start with that because the big introduction, or at least my top two, were X-Men 92
Yes.
and Spider-Man the animated series.
Yeah.
Which is where I fell in love with Venom.
Venom and Carnage. This is where I fell in love with those two characters. Like I am a gigantic Carnage fan. Like I actually have his first appearance signed by Stan Lee.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like that is my family heirloom. Like it's gonna get passed down for generations. I got to meet him before he passed away. Like literally the summer before he passed away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's where, because again, this is before like really comic books like were like,
Yeah,
like,
this is back when like nerds were
nerds,
and, like
yeah.
shunned upon. Yeah.
Yeah, so
like watch any 90s movie and it's just like the jocks are like, hey nerd, dumping them in a thing.
Yeah,
they get out and they're like, yeah.
So like comic books were like a closely guarded like secret, like it was gatekept.
You congregated at your one local comic shop, and that's the only place you could be friends.
And if you didn't have a comic book shop near you, like you're SOL. You're only
right,
like
you listen to death metal. That's what you did.
Yeah, I mean that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Wait, is that why I listen to death metal?
It's true. We're all here for you.
So yeah, I mean, like the Spider-Man the animated series. I recently watched that not too long ago, actually. And same thing with X-Men 92. Like when I first moved back, I just was like, I'll just put this on and just play it in the background, and it's dated.
I remember trying to rewatch it and
Right.
just being like, this storyline doesn't really go in order at all.
X-Men 92, it kind of works. Spider-Man the animated series still holds.
Okay, so I gotta say this, and I don't know why, but this scene sticks out in my head like a sore thumb for Spider-Man the animated series. Venom is holding Spider-Man on top of a building with reporters down beneath him, and he's just like, it's time for everyone to see who you are, and he rips off his mask, and it's just Peter Parker being like hung up there by Venom, and J. Jonah Jameson's down on the ground. It's just like, ugh! And the episode ends, and then the next episode starts, and it's just like, yeah, we didn't have good enough footage. It's like, oh,
yeah,
that's how you're gonna end that cliffhanger.
That's
but that is like stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's
also the
old
McDonald's 90s. Fucking Spider-Man vehicles. Do you remember that?
Yes.
God, I miss the days when when McDonald's actually like tied in with cool stuff.
Yeah, or when like
BK.
there was just cool stuff to actually tie in. The other one that's worth mentioning that was or on Marvel, because sadly like Marvel like did not have a strong animated front, would be one that still holds to this day is X-Men Evolution. I literally just rewatched it.
Oh my
too,
god,
and it's
dude,
still
that
good.
needs so many more seasons.
Yeah, that needs to come back as well.
That needs to come back.
If you're bringing 92 back, bring back X-Men Evolution while you're at it. But yeah, I mean, those were like
That's when I fell in love with Havoc.
Yes.
And, did you know that the character Spike was created for X-Men Evolution, and then he was such a well-liked character? That's when they were like, all right, cool, we're gonna throw you in the comics from now on.
In the comic books.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, because we just finished our Marvel conversation, really, because truly that was it. There was the only 3 Marvel cartoons that were out when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think there
might have been a
Fan
couple
4.
more.
I don't know,
but
maybe. But before we leave, we have to touch on the fact that Rogue was probably the hottest cartoon character.
Yeah, she is the reason
time.
why I like goth chicks.
100%.
Like it literally awakened something in me when I was like 8 years old that I did not know I had.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it's
oh. And then like
yes,
Teen Titans came out with Raven,
with
and
Raven.
I'm just like, what's going on here? My child hormones.
And then
But-
you get my Valentine and her amazing breasts.
My breasts.
Give me super strength.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge.
but-
But talking about characters that started out in a cartoon and were so well liked that they got introduced into the comic books. We actually have two that actually are. We have to thank the animated series for them existing. Static Shock does not exist without Static Shock the cartoon.
Correct. Can I guess the other one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Yep. Harley Quinn was introduced in the Batman the Animated Series, was so well loved, they introduced her into the comic books.
Yep.
Her actual first appearance is in a spin-off comic based around Batman the Animated Series. And then her first appearance, she has another first appearance in the comic books later, where she actually is in the DC universe, like the DC comics.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Static Shock was definitely one. I love Static Shock, and actually another show that I recently started rewatching as well. Because like again, like when I'm doing stuff in the background, like I can't watch anime, so like I'll put on like shows that have like that's in English that I remember fondly and I could just listen to.
The Queen's English.
The Queen's English.
Hey.
And
Cheerio, Magneto.
Static Shock, the one thing I remember like vividly about Static Shock is the what's the after school
special, dude.
Yep.
That cartoon touched on so much like real life shit.
Yeah.
That it's ridiculous. Like it had gun violence. It had drugs.
And
drugs was big. Well, the whole show is basically like a I don't know if euphemism is the right word, but it's like a play on life of like, hey, there's kind of this rundown like low income city.
Yep.
And a mysterious chemical gets out and starts infecting like all the kids and making them do shit they don't want to do. It's like, yeah, that's drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Static Shock is, God, it was so good.
It was really
Virgil,
so good,
and then like eventually give Virgil his own power, but like, wait, no, Virgil's the main character.
Virgil's the main character. Richie is the
Richie
is the nerdy white kid who becomes like Gizmo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked his powers.
So
Yeah.
they found a way to make Rubber Band Man cool.
Yeah.
Because he was a rapper with a pretty solid redemption arc.
I just think my favorite thing is just he's just like, I need a form of flying. Like Static Shock, he's just like, let me grab this manhole cover. Easy.
I gotta ask though. So Rubber Band Man, was that his name in the cartoon series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a rapper. Was he voiced by the Rubber Band Man? T.I. Yeah.
Oh my God, look it up.
Because that
would be dope.
A song, like there's a lyric that I just remember like vividly from my childhood, and I'm a death metal person, and it is literally Rubber Band Man, wild as a Taliban, 9 in my right, 45 in my other hand. Like I had that lyric is like stuck in my brain permanently. It was like is that T.I.?
It's not. He's not voiced by T.I. It's
Okay.
Kadeem Harrison.
But like it's just like
that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have been
amazing.
amazing. So yeah, God, there's so many. I mean, we touched on it. Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, which is like to this day renowned as like one of the best animated masterpieces out there.
What blows me away is that like I'm looking at this list and I'm seeing all these DC series, right? I do not like DC comics, right? Like I'm not a big fan of the comics. Rebirth was good because I do read comics now, and I did love Rebirth, but like 52 and all that stuff, I haven't really liked the DC universe comic book wise for a while now. But I remember fondly as a kid loving these animated, like the DC, like Justice League 2000, Justice League Unlimited, like those series were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love them. The Superman, the animated series. I don't know if that's even on there.
Oh, we didn't even put that on there.
Yeah,
it's
like,
amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I like all this, like DC had so many great cartoons. So why
and Teen Titans? I mean, you did mention that.
Yeah, like
Titans to this day is one of like the best cartoons.
I love Titans. Like, so why is it that your animated series are so fantastic, so well loved, but you cannot
make a good live action?
You can't get it off the ground.
Even their animated movies, like the Dark trilogy,
the animated movies are fantastic.
The Dark series, which started off with like Flashpoint and then went to like.
I will sadly have to
Constantine
say
or whatever.
that because of is it Kevin Conroy?
Yeah.
because of Kevin Conroy's death, we have whatever Mark Hamill's last appearance as the Joker
Yeah,
was.
he says he won't.
He will not pay. And I went through a list of every time Mark Hamill voiced the Joker, and every time he voiced the Joker, it actually was paired with Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Yeah,
not
and
a single
it's so
time.
sweet because he literally said he is my Batman.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just had to touch on that little sad fact.
For all you kids out there, Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker.
Oh my God,
mind blown.
He's also Firelord Ozai.
I don't know if this is anyone else, but like
Also,
He's also the Joker.
Obviously younger than not Mike, so I was essentially playing catch up on like all the childhood movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember any like cartoon movie that was made by Fox or WB, they had a trailer for Mask of the Phantasm.
God,
And I
that
just
was
remember
such a good
like
movie.
it was like from WB and it had like wind noises and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. I got chills. I was like, I don't even know what this is, but like it was so exciting to me. And then it would be like Pikachu would jump on screens. I think it was like Pokemon animated movie or something like that.
Dude, Mask of the Phantasm. That ending is like it's in every single animated Batman movie where it's just he rolls into the abandoned amusement park and the Joker is there and they get into their final fight. And but it's just
it's so great.
it's so good. It's the Killing
picture,
Joke
like-
is the comic that ends like that.
Are you talking about the one
Killing
where
Joke?
Is
the
that the
Killing
one
Joke,
where
the one
Batman actually kills the Joker?
It's alluded
To it.
Yeah.
Where at the end he's just like choking him and Batman starts laughing and that's like the last panel.
So in the way that the story ends is the same way that it ends in the story. The Joker tells a joke, Batman finds it funny, and then there's a black panel with a sound effect.
Okay, and it's just like snap or crack
Yeah,
or
it's
something
supposed
like that.
to make you think that he
He killed him.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they animated that movie. I'm pretty sure that he killed Joker.
It's
Like,
been a while since I've
they
seen the
actually
movie.
animated him kill the Joker.
I own it, so I'll have to watch it.
I want to say it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, I mean Teen Titans.
It's like the best 3 seasons.
And they
out
keep
there.
alluding every year. There's a strong rumor that they're going to finally bring it back.
It's never gonna happen, and I'm so mad.
I
because
know.
I will continuously get my hopes up.
They literally did a campaign where they were like, if enough people go to see Teen Titans Go in theaters, we'll bring back Teen Titans, the animated series, and people were actively because they people don't like Teen Titans Go, right?
Right.
I enjoy it for
It's
what it's
hilarious.
worth. It is funny. I enjoy it for what it is, but a lot of people don't like it, and I understand. Right? I respect it, and there was people that were going on Fandango and all that stuff,
And just buying
100
tickets.
and just not even going to the movies. They're like, if it means we get Teen Titans, there was people actually buying out whole there was a on Reddit or something like that. There was a picture when this was all going around, people who were in charge of cleaning up theaters and stuff like that were going into the viewings of Teen Titan Go and taking a picture of the theater, and it was completely empty, and it was all seats
Sold
had been
out.
all sold out.
Yeah.
Because that was shit that was going on. People were buying out whole theaters to be WB, give me this movie, and give me the series back. And then they did it, but then they did a Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans movie, and it's
That's not what we wanted.
not what we wanted.
No, we want to figure out if Beast Boy gets with Terra or if Beast Boy's going to get with Raven.
And are Robin and Starfire finally gonna get together?
Right. Are we going to figure out Robin's real name? Do we know what Robin it is?
Are we ever going to figure out who the fuck Slade is?
I will say, DC animated teen shows, properly was this is what being a teenager would probably be like if you had superpowers.
Yeah.
They're depressed, they're stressed out. Marvel's
Yes.
just oh my god, I'm successful now. They were here's teenage angst. Let's
Yes.
do it well. That's all they do, but
Yeah.
at least they do it perfectly.
Yeah, and it's all there, and even just Static Shock didn't it didn't deal on the angst either. It was light and fun. It wasn't dark and broody like Teen Titans, but it still had a lot of the teenage elements in it. I'm just
DC is real life. It's
it can do both.
yeah.
It can do both the dark and edgy. And I
Right.
think it's the issue that I have with DC now is that not only in the comic books, like it's why I didn't like New 52 and why I didn't like and I'll say this and I'm probably gonna like get like bombed for this. It's why I don't like Christopher Nolan's Batman either. It's because like people they're like, oh, it's got to be dark and edgy and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, Batman the animated series was literally one of the darkest animated like not like in terms of like actual like like it's edgy dark. I'm talking like
everything is literally black and gray.
The entirety of Batman the animated series was drawn on black paper. That's how that series.
I didn't know that. That's pretty dope.
That's what that series was drawn. Like it was drawn on black paper. The background they would when they would lay the cells over it and do the thing, it was on the back of black paper, not white paper with the background put in eventually. That's why that series is like so iconic animation wise. That's why when you go back and you look at it, that's why you think the animation is so crisp and beautiful to this day. And they have not, and like even that being literally the darkest animated series that they ever made in terms of like actual like technical skill, it still had so many beautiful like fun moments, and it didn't fully delve on the fact that Batman was dark and brooding, because what made the animated series so great was that he played both roles throughout the whole series.
Yeah, he was Batman and he was Bruce Wayne.
My favorite moment about that series was when he was literally in full Batman gear and he got a phone call that he had to take as Bruce Wayne. So like he's like talking, Alfred, we gotta go to blah blah blah, and the phone goes off and he has to answer it, and he goes, hey, this is Bruce Wayne. He changes his voice immediately to like Bruce Wayne's voice. And I'm just like, that's what I want. That's what we want. Give us that.
And like, you know, it's good too, because like that character design for that Batman, they've carried into like all the Justice League shows that have come since then.
Yep. That Batman has been the Batman in every animated series.
Honestly,
since.
same with the Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that design,
Superman
they were just like,
series.
This is how it is. This is how it's going to be.
And that's what's up, man. Like the DC animated series from like the 90s into the early 2000s were just so good. Like, give us more, please.
I would love like a renaissance of that.
We got Marvel giving us X-Men New 52, not New 52.
No,
they're giving us
the new 92.
Yeah, New 92, X-Men 92.
Like
is what
honestly,
it's called.
like do what you do best. Revamp what you've already made.
Yeah, it's already there. You already have it.
Give us continuations of what you already made. I want more Static Shock. I want more X-Men Evolution. I want more. Actually, I gotta go back and because one we haven't touched on, Batman Beyond. I gotta go back and rewatch Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond, another series that existed before the comic books.
Yeah.
Terry McGinnis, and you see it like Batman Beyond is such a loved character that they're touching on the concept of Batman Beyond in the new Flash movie.
Right.
Like they're bringing like there's a lot of big talks about Batman Beyond coming out. I'm like, wow, it's almost like all these things that you're trying to resurface in like live action had to start in the animated universe before they were even comics. Static Shock, animated series before comic book. Harley Quinn series spinoff, like all that stuff.
So fucking good.
Let me guess, Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, anime before live action and before comics. I just touch on some other things, right? So there's go back to Marvel for a little bit here. There was a Marvel Fantastic Four cartoon that I remember watching a little bit when I was like a kid. So like,
was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I was like 6, so you would have been like 4. Yeah. So like you
A
definitely
little young to remember things.
So I only remember this because my dad introduced me to that cartoon, right? Because he grew up watching that cartoon when he was younger.
Oh, so we're talking like
it's like a 70s cartoon.
Okay.
But you know, there was that like one thing I like about the 90s cartoon and why they work so well is that like as a kid for me, there was a long time before studios started to churn out cartoons. Like the 90s were fantastic because like the early 90s, like 92, 93, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, it was just 70s cartoons. Like that's what I remember as like a little wee like kid.
The Hanna-Barbera stuff?
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
Because like that's they were just rehashing that for kids. They just like, well, it was good for kids in the 60s and 70s. We're just going to keep using it for 80s and 90s kids.
Meanwhile, in
right?
Japan, we're getting all the great anime.
All the great anime is coming out. And so it wasn't until like the mid 90s when like we actually had like the animation domination, which is what I think they called the WB.
I think they called that.
Yeah, it was like the animation domination. Like when you had like all these cartoons that we like are on our list, but we're going to talk about them on a different episode now because we've focused too much on DC and Marvel.
To ramble.
Yeah. So the reason why I bring this up was because my dad loved the Fantastic Four as a cartoon when he was a kid because he had a crush on Sue Storm.
Who did?
Yeah. So
let's be honest.
That is.
Let's be honest.
And he loved the Thing. That was his like favorite character. He as a guy like he would like walk around like it's clobbering time, stuff like that. You know, and
as he just beats you.
Yeah, as he beats me.
I would like to say animation domination is actually what Fox labeled their Family Guy.
Is that what it is?
Like,
Yeah, okay,
The Simpsons
yeah.
Power Hour, so not quite as eventful.
No, shit.
But anyways, there was a term for the 90s anime, like the cartoon like craze that did happen in the mid 90s. Because I mean, like, Jesus. I mean, like, I'm looking at the list again. I don't want to touch on any of these cartoons because like there's so many on here.
Or that one?
Or
that one.
Yeah, that one. That one.
When I was looking up this list, I remembered seeing that one. It was like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that one.
Like, for example, like even like the non-cartoon, but also in the same thing. Remember Beetleborgs?
I just found out there was a crossover episode where the Power Rangers fought the Beetleborgs.
Yeah, but that's all in the WB era.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like, it's crazy. So, like...
Actually, something else we could touch on, because it is superhero related, the Ninja Turtles. So, the Ninja Turtles were created to mock comics.
Yes.
So, like, you know, like Marvel Comics has the Hand, which is like the Ninja Force and all that stuff. Ninja Turtles has the Foot, which is the Ninja Turtles, like Ninja Force, which is funny because now the Ninja Turtles are actually part of the DC universe.
Yeah.
They're also part of the Power Rangers universe.
Yes, they are.
So I'm assuming that the Power Rangers are part of the DC universe.
You don't know about the Power Rangers versus the Justice League comics?
No, is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, there is an actual thing. Rita Repulsive and Repulsive, I think was her name? Repulsa? Repulsa. Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed come to the DC universe, and they team up with Lex Luthor, obviously, and a couple other
probably
people.
like Brainiac or something.
Yeah, Brainiac's always involved when it comes to like crossover stuff. But yeah, that's an actual comic. I can't believe you didn't know that.
I did not know that, but
it's great.
Please tell me Batman gets one of the power coins. You can ruin this for me.
He does.
Yes. Is he a Green Ranger?
I can't remember fully.
Okay.
The comic came out like maybe like 7 years ago.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I probably do need to pick it up.
You do need to pick it up. It's so cheesy and dumb, but yeah, Batman crosses over with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles multiple times.
Yeah.
There's 2 movies and 2 comic book series where they meet up with each other.
I'm about that.
Yeah,
I'm about that.
So yeah, like there was also the original, like we're talking about like old school cartoons as well. Anime. I keep wanting to say anime. There's the original Justice League with like the
Justice Friends of America.
Yeah, and the Wonder Twins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's an old cartoon as well.
Wonder Twins unite. Shape of a dragon.
Shape of water puddle.
Yeah.
Because you can turn into like water based things. God, what else? There's a couple other things that I know that I'm just missing on. I mean, Justice League. We touched on it a little bit, but Justice League United and Justice League 2000.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, we don't have to keep this just in the 90s because there's also Young Justice, which is a more recent thing, which is
Young Justice,
really solid.
Yeah.
The most recent season, Phantasm, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling to get through it. I have yet, but every other season of Young Justice has been solid.
The first
it's like the sequel to Teen Titans that I wanted. Like, I know I'm not getting original Teen Titans back, so Young Justice is filling that void, and I'm okay with that.
Aqualad is like one of my favorite characters. In that show.
Even Connor's pretty dope.
Yeah. Actually, it was another series that I just recently started rewatching again as well.
Okay.
I've rewatched a lot of these cartoons.
Then we have the Harley Quinn HBO cartoon.
Yes.
with Harley and Ivy.
I don't like Harley at all as a character.
Me
but
neither,
I
but
love
that show is
the show is so
amazing.
it's so good. I love that the guy from Ugly Americans is the voice of Kite Man.
yeah. On the same line, we also got Johnny Quest. He's superhero-ish,
Yeah.
and old.
Yes. Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
You know who else crossovered with Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo did.
Yup. The greatest detectives form a team.
If we're also talking about superhero quickly, if like again to allude to like other things, Space Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually had a cartoon before Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Because I mean, the whole show is just literally just reusing animation from the cartoon, and Harvey Birdman,
Which is now a movie with Kevin.
Nope, different Birdman.
That's not the same
that's
Birdman?
not Hawkeye, Hawkman.
No, it won like a shit ton of awards. It's called like Birdman or something like
Yeah,
that.
but Harvey Birdman is the lawyer.
Harvey Birdman is a different thing.
Yeah, and
Harvey
this is-
Birdman, attorney at law. That is another
Okay,
series that
but-
came out where they just reused the Harvey Birdman things. 'Cause I
gotcha.
remember that because my dad liked that show as well. Also, who also had a tie over with Batman was the Blue Falcon. Blue Falcon had a crossover with Batman and also a crossover with Scooby Doo.
Huh.
Yeah,
It's like they're all in the same
they
universe.
all right. They really should just come together.
I want a dark and gritty, like Batman the Animated
Mm-hmm.
Series esque Scooby Doo adventures.
Like we got with Supernatural.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And
But like even like grittier, like Fred like walks up on a crime scene, and he's just like, "I know what we're gonna do today."
I mean, that's literally Scooby Doo and the gang in Venture Brothers.
Yeah, it kind of is. Oh, how creepy would that be if like Fred just bends down and you see him just pick up like flayed flesh of a face? It's like, this doesn't look like a mask to me. Shit could get dark.
Well, like that's what they tried doing with the recent Velma.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, I heard that. I haven't watched it, so I don't want to like put it because like as soon as you talk about how it's bad and you have nothing to back it up, everyone's like, oh, well, that's just because you're blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, it just looks bad.
Well, okay, so
Animation wise,
first off,
animation looks terrible.
Mindy Kaling or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
she's a trash human being,
I agree.
according to my
Sure.
personal opinions. I don't like her. But they also took everything about Scooby-Doo and changed it. So
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can't talk bad about her, because of like all the stuff that comes out. Like you're fat phobic or what's the other one? You're racist.
yeah,
So you can't talk bad about her.
this whole section's getting cut.
Yeah, it's all getting cut.
But okay, reversing.
Yeah, we're all the
So
way back.
not only am I not a fan of Mindy,
Yeah.
but like she just took every character too far in the wrong direction to make them edgy. Like it just doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
Well, because
It's-
like Fred is like supposed to be like a pompous like rich boy who got handed everything in life, and
yeah,
Daphne's like the
but he's also
dumb
like a
cheerleader
crybaby
girl.
who doesn't know how to use a fork,
yeah
and like mommy and daddy have to like
yeah
basically
the
put his
guy
diaper
who
on
literally
for him.
puts together like traps with like by just like surveying a room and being like, I can make all these cool like what's the term, the Goldberg whatever the term, like when you make a trap and like the
Yes.
idea is that
the
like,
goldfish thing where it's like
it hits one thing and it hits another thing and it hits
Yeah.
another thing and it like
the
I know
Goldstein.
I can't remember
Bears.
what it's called.
But yeah,
I
and
don't
then
know
like
how to describe it enough to look
It's
it
just
up.
like looking
Yeah.
up on Google.
and then like Shaggy's not a stoner in it and is like actively against smoking weed. And this is all based off the first 3 episodes I watched. Velma is like all hopped up on like depression medication and stuff
Yeah.
like that to stop her from hallucinating. Scooby's not even in it. Like,
What?
yeah. Once again, to all you fans out there who for some reason like that show, I've only watched the first 3 episodes before I was like,
It doesn't matter.
I can't watch
You
this
shouldn't have to
anymore.
go 3 episodes without Scooby Doo.
right.
That is dumb.
Dumb.
Wow. No, I'm just calling it now without hearing that. Say what you want. It's dumb. But Yeah, I mean, who else? I was gonna bring up another person that had a Batman crossover as well. I think Spawn had a Batman crossover, but also Spawn had a cartoon series as well.
And the Watchmen. Watchmen had a Batman crossover, but
Watchmen,
now they're DC.
Watchmen is officially DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's
They created DC.
I can
by some
go
weird
into
turn
it,
of events.
but Doctor Manhattan and stuff like that. There's in the recent comic books, touch on it a little bit into our homage to the comic book series. But there is recently what's called the Doom. I think it was called the Doom Clock. So at the end of New 52 into the DC Rebirth, Batman realizes that there's multiple universes, and he finds a button, and the button is the smiley face blood button from the Watchmen. And the issue is literally called The Button, where he's trying to figure these things out. And you find out that Dr. Manhattan has been like pulling some things behind the scenes to like reorganize the universe from New 52 into Rebirth. And that's why like things are different. And that's why things are better, because New 52 sucked.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough.
So it's a lot.
Anyway, to wrap it up, go watch Static Shock. Go watch Teen Titans. Go watch Batman the Animated Series. Go watch X-Men Evolution. Go watch the 90s.
Yeah.
And report back to us next week when we talk about more superhero stuff.
Got more superhero stuff in the works. We got DC Comics and then DC Comics, Marvel Comics. We'll talk about the comic book series, stuff like that, just comic books. Obviously, we got the MCU and the DCU coming up as well. We touched on that a little bit at the beginning of the episode.
Yep. Take a shot every time we say Batman.
Yeah.
But until next time, I'm not Mike.
And I'm not Pat.
And you have a great night, Chicago. Specifically Chicago.
Only Chicago. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure to join us here every Thursday on YouTube and Spotify as we drop new episodes of that good shit.
And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok for some solid filler content to get you through the week at Not Mike, Not Pat. You should be watching.